Happy Thursday, my friends. It's your pal, your recruiter, career coach friend, Phil Davis over at FulPHILLment. We are here live. It's 11:01 Eastern. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. We are back at it here again, FulPHILLment Live, Season 3, Episode 3. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. We love the comments when they come in. We love your feedback. We love your questions. We love your insights because, right, these FulPHILLment Live episodes are all about the value that all of us can bring. And we have a very, very special guest speaker today, my friend Meghan Cantrell. She is incredible. Let me go ahead and turn the music off here real quick. Isn't that nice, though? Like, my streaming service has this AI-generated music provider as an added service on my pro plan that I have. And so it's nice to just kind of get into the groove and in tune with the live with some music in the beginning. So go ahead and turn that off here. All right. So FulPHILLment Live, Season 3, Episode 3. So today is going to be a really special live because I wanted to bring this awesome guest speaker that I have and friend up here, Meghan Cantrell. And Meghan is amazing, right? She's a talent acquisition manager over at her company, OxBlue, which is also Projectmates by Systemates Inc. They are a security company. They provide security camera footage and services to construction projects out in the industry. They're incredible. I did a little bit of research on them. And of course, having Meghan at the helm of talent acquisition with them, I'm sure is absolutely incredible. So Meghan, what she does over there, she spearheads their full cycle recruitment efforts. She leads the function and she brings her own strategic process improvements in order to not only hire the best talent there, but also to streamline and maximize return on investment and ultimately scale company growth and really bring the company to the next level. So in our live today, right, our topic is how to focus on your hiring process and your career. See what I did there? How to focus, right, like a camera. So we're going to talk about that, right? We're going to talk about hiring. We're going to talk about all things recruiting. We're going to talk about career coaching. We're going to talk about job search strategy, all within this short amount of time. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting. So folks, too, we're keeping up with comments. So definitely let us know where you're tuning in from. Please give us a shout out, ask questions. We're here for it. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Meghan here up on the stage. Meghan, you are live, my friend. What's up?
Hello. How are you, Phil?
We're good. How's it going, friend? How you doing over there?
I'm doing great. Happy Thursday. I'm honored to be a guest today.
Yes, we are very happy for you to be here. And thank you, too. I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot going on. But, you know, it's always so cool to just like take a couple minutes or take some time and just to be out here in the network. I think it's very important. So I really am happy and fulfilled that you are here with us today.
Oh, it's my
So thank you.
pleasure. Always have time for my friends and happy to connect with your network and share, a little bit about me and my background.
Absolutely. Right back at you too. So yeah, we'll start there, Meghan. You kind of picked, you kind of got there in my, we're in tune, if you will, with the first question. So tell the audience here, whether they're listening live or on the replay, who you are, what you're all about.
All right. Hello, audience. I'm Meghan Cantrell. I am the talent acquisition manager here at OxBlue in Atlanta, and I also support Projectmates in Dallas. These are both companies that are in the construction vertical by our parent company, Hexagon's an international company. And I am the first in-house recruiter here at OxBlue. I've been here 3 years. This is the third company I have been the first in-house recruiter. So I'm very used to taking chaos and creating order and streamlining things and improving processes and coming up with creative solutions to recruit.
Wow. 3-time first in-house recruiter. I've only done that one time in my career. And I know it was like kind of a crazy circus for a little bit. So being able to do that 3 times, like that's crazy. That's crazy. I commend you for that. And 3 years, congratulations as well. I mean, that's big. That's a big, accomplishment, a big ordeal. And I know they're very happy to have you there because I see y'all stuff on Instagram and on social all the time, all the different events that y'all have over there and everything. And of course, we'll get to promote you guys and your organization in a little while. So we've got my lovely wife, Kelsey, in the house who just sent a comment. from downstairs.
Hello, Kelsey.
This is my other half, my amazing one. Hello from our dining room, like literally, like full work. She works down there in our dining room, which is a good little location. And then I'm up here whenever I do my lives and podcasts and stuff. So, but long time no see, Kelsey. She's like, she'll do the eye roll like, oh, Phil, here we go again. So, but thank you for tuning in, my love. I appreciate you always. All right, so let's kind of go into it. And I think we can start, right, Megan, with, I guess, the recruitment side, right? So we did a post this morning on LinkedIn and social media to promote the show. And we had a really, really good comment from our friend George Lamdus out abroad. He's out in the UK. And one of the things that he asked, and I think we can start here is really good, is he was inquiring about like fresh perspectives on recruitment strategies, right? So whether I guess, how have you done that really for, your organization, and really, like, I guess, to even take it a step further too, what are ways that companies can really bring these fresh perspectives in their recruitment strategy, right? Let's say they're having challenges hiring top talent, or something's going on, but what can companies do, and how have you been able to do that to really bring in a fresh lens on recruitment strategy?
Absolutely. Great question. So I would say it's all about differentiating yourself from your competitors, right? Why should someone want to work for your company? So really understanding your brand, your culture, and setting yourself apart, creating a precedent that you're not seeing at other companies. So something that I did was put together prep packets. I have an interview prep packet, we have an orientation prep packet, an onboarding prep packet. And I've had candidates come back and say they've never seen something like that before in the interview process. And it really set a precedent for our company being exceptional and different and caring about candidates in a way they weren't seeing in the market. That prep packet has a lot of frequently asked questions in it about the interview process, about what the benefits look like, holidays, our culture. There's an introduction from our CEO. We really just go above and beyond in that regard. So that's one thing I do. I've also created a culture video that's on our career board. And these are testimonials from employees. This is not scripted. This is their genuine experience here at our company. And I've had a lot of feedback about that, about how candidates get this buy-in because they really feel the energy of our company, just hearing about all of these wonderful experiences that employees have had. I, as a recruiter, have used BombBomb videos to message candidates to create exceptional and different ways. And what's funny is I've done the professional BombBomb video where I'm very just like, hello, my name is Megan. And then I've done like goofy, silly ones. And like I had one with my CSO where we did the Step Brothers thing where I'm standing here and then he comes popping out from like right behind me, like, hello, and I'm here too to talk about why you should join our sales team. And we got so much great feedback from that video. So it's just, again, the trend of setting yourself apart, finding ways to be genuine and exciting and create that energy.
I love it. The BombBomb videos is great. And I have seen those culture videos on the careers website over there and everything that y'all are doing. And like I said earlier too, I mean, your social media is fantastic, and just being able to promote like the different events that y'all are doing, team building, engagement. I mean, I'm a fan. I specifically see y'all on Instagram because I'm on Instagram a lot for my own business and FulPHILLment, and being able to see you guys come up on the feed. I'm like, they're full of energy. Like, they've got a lot of really interesting stuff going on over there. Oh, that's kind of cool. So that's awesome that you're able to really incorporate and really bring in those fresh perspectives with your business. And like you said, too, bringing an unscripted perspective of those employees that you have, just sharing their story and the values that they have. I think that's incredible. It's not so cut and dry. It's like, it's real. It's authentic. We hear that all the time. I think that's great.
Our marketing team did a great job with our Instagram, and we have we're a dog friendly office. So we have a dog of the month, and I hyperlink the Instagram in messages I send out on LinkedIn. And so often I'll get candidates to say, I'm not interested. I'm not looking at this time, but I wish I was, because I want my dog to be the dog of the month this month. So, I mean, it's just little things like that.
Yeah, y'all had a post, I think, on that maybe yesterday, day before. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, because my brain immediately went, because we've got a dog, Grace. I'm like, Grace. Like, I put two and two together. I'm like, okay, that's kind of a cool place to work, because like Grace could be the dog of the month, maybe. I don't know. Like, that's huge. That's a way to differentiate. Taking it a step further, because I think one of the questions too that I have And we've got a couple other comments. Let me get to the comments here. Kelsey Wave. I know Kelsey. I see you too, Boothang. You're there. We've got Mel over in Traverse City, Michigan, which I've been up there visiting. I visited years ago. It's amazing. We did snowmobiling up there for a while. So Mel, thank you for tuning in. I've seen you this morning on comments on LinkedIn. So thanks for engaging here as well. Robert Berry, thanks for being here, my brother. We need to catch up soon, man. It's been a long time, my friend. Long time. Mel likes the dog stuff too. I'm in tune with that. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's huge. How do you, though, let's take it a step further, right? When you're looking at this fresh perspectives and strategy and recruiting and recruitment marketing and employer branding, how do you motivate your employees? Like, for those employees that did videos for y'all out there, like, how did you motivate them to do those, right? Like, how did you get your leaders on board? How did you end up getting everybody to get bought in on it? So you're like, all right, let's get this out there.
It was actually quite easy because I just asked for volunteers. Like, it wasn't like, hey, you've been assigned this task. It's who wants to share their experience. And I honestly had so many people step up that we had to cut it down to only so many for just the sake of time. But I asked for volunteers because this isn't something that was required. I wanted genuine feedback. I wanted people who wanted to talk about their experience. And honestly, it was unscripted. I think I asked them, what's your favorite experience, your favorite memory, or your favorite thing that we do here? Because we have so many, like we do Wind Down Wednesdays, we do 5Ks, we do Fun Fridays, we volunteer in the community. So there's just a lot of opportunity here that our employees were willing to share. And no one had the same answer. That was kind of cool too, just in terms of making the culture video and seeing that everyone's perspective was unique, different, and completely, just their own.
I like that a lot. I think that's really incredible. And I'm sure like all of these things help to bring in, top talent and really help y'all out with, targeting the talent that you're really looking for and stuff like that. Right.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, I always tell candidates, you're interviewing us as much as we're interviewing you. So I want to make sure this is the right fit for you long term. So get a taste for what we're like and who we are. And does that speak to you and what you're looking for in your next experience?
Ooh, I like that. And then you mentioned a really good point too. Y'all are interviewing us just as much as we're interviewing you. For all those job seekers out there, I know that's important that, when we're in an interview, we sometimes feel like, hey, it's about the company and making sure that, they're getting a good hire. Yes. But at the same time, we're also wanting to make sure that the next opportunity we get into and we embrace is going to be good for our values and good for us. So a really good reminder for folks listening in the audience and on the replay. I think that's incredible. That is really good. I love that with the strategy. Are there other like TA or recruitment strategies that come to your mind that folks or companies should really invest in or kind of tune into as well?
I mean, I was reminded recently, I was watching somebody else in our industry, Stephen Levi. He was saying, how do you get outside of LinkedIn as a recruiter? Because, so many of us just depend on LinkedIn all the time. And sometimes it's just down, the system's down. And you get to thinking, oh my God, what do I do outside of LinkedIn? And it's true. There are so many great candidates out there outside of LinkedIn. So if recruiters are just counting on LinkedIn, they're missing a huge amount of talent. So think about your industry, think about your job. So for me, I'm in Atlanta. We're a hybrid model, so it has to be candidates in Atlanta. We're in the tech industry, so I'm looking for tech people. So I've reached out to the Women in Technology group, Tech Association of Georgia. I have reached out to the Atlanta Tech Village. I've gone on to find resources like the Q Plus initiative. They're a great nonprofit that works for equality in the workforce, and they partner to provide those equitable opportunities. Like, there's so many great resources. You just kind of have to brainstorm, but it's true that LinkedIn should not be the only thing. I mean, even just a plain old fashioned Boolean search, you would be shocked what you can find that's not on LinkedIn. So I like to think outside the box as much as possible. From a recruiting perspective. And then, I mean, from a candidate perspective these days, and maybe jumping the gun a little, Phil, but if I may, something I've been telling my friends who have been looking is about the employee bonuses, from referrals. People forget about that your advocate at a company isn't just the talent acquisition department. Because, for example, I see this all the time where employees will be the advocate for a candidate because they want to make that money. So reach out on LinkedIn to other people who work at the company that you want to apply to and connect with them and mention, I don't know if your company does an employee referral bonus, but if they do, I would love for you to make that money if you'd like to be my advocate. That can be a huge resource.
Referrals, I'm glad you mentioned that, and just like diversifying. You're right. Like, we can't solely rely on LinkedIn or one particular like media stream to find talent, right? Boolean searches, like you said, is great. Other platforms out there, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, and even like, I'm sure being in the space that you're at, I'm sure you've got like other technical um, platforms that you're looking out and you're establishing relationships on with candidates, and on a proactive basis, and getting benches filled, so that way when roles come, it's taking you a shorter amount of time to find talent and things like that. I think that's great. And Steve Levy's fantastic as well. I'm glad that you mentioned him as well, being able to just get out there. And again, for job seekers as well, not solely relying on LinkedIn for your job search, finding other medias and other forms to get out there and to make your voice heard, and for folks to see your value and impact. I think that's all incredible. And that's huge, huge advice, very powerful advice to share for sure. That's awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. I love it. I love it. Very cool. Yeah, and let's kind of like focus on the job search side, right? So like, obviously you're a talent acquisition manager, talent acquisition leader. And I know through my experience working with you and collaborating and just being a friend of yours, you're definitely a job seeker advocate as well, right? And you're there to be an advocate for your organization because you're looking to find talent for them, but then you're also there to really show that incredible candidate experience, to those job seekers, but then also to be, just a good person overall around, those candidates that you're talking to. So what are some ways that, I guess, from a job seeker perspective, how can they, I don't want to say like leverage recruiters, but you know what I mean? Like, how can they really establish those good quality relationships, with those recruiters and with those organizations that they're interested in working at, right? Because we see a lot of times on LinkedIn, folks will say, "Hey, help me find a job, help me find a job." And while that's a good start, right, it may not be the most effective way to get yourself out there, right? So what are ways that job seekers, in your opinion, they can get out there, they can engage with companies that they're interested in, whether they're target companies or even positions, to really get those connections going?
Great question. So, I mean, again, LinkedIn comes into play, thinking within LinkedIn, thinking outside of LinkedIn. So, first of all, oftentimes I'll talk to friends of mine who are applying for jobs and I'll say, "Did you only apply on LinkedIn?" And they say, "Yeah." I was like, "You've got to apply on the actual job site because sometimes, especially with larger companies, sometimes all those applications aren't getting seen by a pair of human eyes. They're getting filtered through by AI systems for keywords and things like that. So, make sure you're first of all applying on the actual job site. So outside of LinkedIn and LinkedIn. And then also, like I mentioned, reaching out to the employees that work at the companies, reach out to the hiring managers, the talent acquisition people. Like, for example, a huge part of my job is hiring salespeople. So a great way to assess a good salesperson is if they're like know who to identify as the hiring manager and reach out to them, send an email and say, "Hey, I want to introduce myself. I applied for this job." Like, there's the easy algorithms to figure out email addresses, like using the Zoom info, for example.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool when I get a sales candidate that I know is a good fit because they're already doing the sales job in the interview process. They are targeting the
Mm-hmm.
right people to contact, and they're emailing them, they're connecting on LinkedIn and just saying, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I would love to tell you more about my experience if you think I might be a fit." Well, now I'm interested because you are a good fit because you've done it the right way. Like, you're thinking outside the box and just getting your name in front of people, but not in an aggressive way, in a like
Mm-hmm.
suave, just here's who I am way.
I love that. I really do like that a lot. And Mel said, "Yeah, thanks for asking the question." Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what we're here for. And folks too listening live, if you have questions, definitely put them in the comments because I'm looking at your comments as well. We're monitoring together here. So if there's anything you guys want to ask as well, let us know. We're definitely here to answer your questions too. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest things that I liked about your response and stuff there is, yes, you hire salespeople, but they're not being so aggressive or like sales pitchy, right? We all here on LinkedIn, right? We all are, whether we're on other social platforms, we've all had that instance where we'll connect with somebody and then they'll immediately sales pitch very aggressively. And that may be their sales strategy, but a lot of times we're just like, okay, what? Like, I don't even know who you are, right? So we got to find ways to really establish and nurture that relationship first. One of good friends of mine too, Deanna Russo, who I had on last time on last FulPHILLment Live, we talked about like know, like, and trust people, right? So you can't really ask for the order, like my wife Kelsey says, she's in a sales position as well. we can't ask for the order until we've known, like, and trusted other people, get to really get that relationship going, see how we can add value to that other individual first before, we ask for the order and ask for help. And I think that's really incredible too, where, we're getting to learn about each other and collaborate the ways that are going to be effective. So we're able to support each other and collaborate. I mean, heck, that's how you and I are talking live right now. Like, I didn't know who you were a couple months ago. We met at RecFest back over in Nashville. We got to know each other. I'm like, yeah, you're cool. I like you. Like, we resonate. We're in tune with a lot of our strategies. I want you on my live. Well, let's talk about it. Yeah. Kelsey says right here, ask for the order. Yes. And she has ingrained this in my mind because, being a salesperson over here, having a, career coach and stuff, I sell my services out there on LinkedIn and other platforms. So yeah, this is important. Being able to ask for the order, but knowing when to ask it. I think that's
cool. Well, there's a term when recruiting is sales, and there's a term in sales, always be selling. I mean, it's the same. It's always be recruiting. Like, anytime I'm talking to a candidate and we're not the right fit, or they're not the right fit for us, it's, hey, do you know somebody in your network who might be a good fit? And vice versa. I'll say, okay, so like the drive's too far, but you're looking for remote work. Well, maybe I can refer you to our sister company, Leica, who's up in Alpharetta, who might be closer to you. There's always ways and opportunities to continue to find ways to be of value for candidates and vice versa. Like, I've hired some of the most amazing people through referrals that we didn't hire because they weren't the right, like, we weren't the right fit for them, or vice versa, but we kept talking. And I've hired people because it wasn't the right timing, but we've stayed in touch, via LinkedIn or just email. And 2 years later, it's like, and here we are. It works out now. So, building those relationships is important because you never know.
I love that. And Kelsey says, oh my gosh, Kelsey. Yes, RecFest. Love seeing the flamingo and the aardvark. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the zoo stuff. Anna Morgan.
Anna Morgan did such a great job with that event.
It's a mutual friend. I know you're going to be on Anna's LinkedIn audio show this evening too, which y'all need to tune in on that. They've got amazing recruiters and HR professionals and leaders on that audio. I can't tune in that this evening. I've got choir rehearsal this evening. That's why I can't go. But that's okay. But I'll be there next time. But
you'll have to join Ask a Recruiter sometime, and then you can sing the answer to a question.
Maybe we'll do that. But yeah, that's the thing, right? I mean, Anna's another prime example. I'm gonna shout her out too, right? I mean, when we met at RecFest, I mean, she was really a pivotal example of really bringing in just, we introduced, you and I met through Anna, like we met all these other folks through her as well. I mean, that's what it's all about, and just getting to have them. I like to talk about memories a lot. When Kelsey and I travel, we're making memories together as a family, but even making memories with the connections that we have and the people we have. Because I think as recruiters too, and I think you'll agree with me, one of the things I love, right, kind of a recruiter hat on, not so much a career coach hat, is I love like remembering key things about people that I meet, right? Whether I write them on, paper like this or whatever. And that's how people can remember you. Like, give them a key takeaway that you want them to remember you on, so that, they won't forget, oh yeah, well, Meghan said something about BombBomb videos. Because I don't know too much about it, but now I know more because we talked about it today. It's like, okay, now I'm going to go look at that up and see what that's all about. So I think that's great. Let's kind of shift gears a little bit because I want to talk about I do want to talk a little bit about LinkedIn from a recruiter perspective and a job search perspective, right? More on the job seeker side. So, most of my clients, we'll do resume review with them and we'll do LinkedIn review. But I always love to ask this question with other recruiters that are on the show. How can job seekers out there optimize their LinkedIn profile so when recruiters like you go on their pages, if you're doing proactive sourcing on LinkedIn, can stop for a second and be like, I want to reach out to this person and talk to them about a role that I have available, or they may have applied to a position. You go on their LinkedIn page, you're like, yeah, I like this here. Like, how can they optimize their profile on a high level so it's attractive, to recruiters?
Good question. I would say, first of all, keep it updated. It's comical to me, like how often I'll be talking to somebody like, oh my God, like I actually haven't worked at that company for a year. I'm like, okay, well, let's get the LinkedIn profile up to date first and foremost. Or like they'll have their most recent job, but then the 2 jobs below it also say present, because so it looks like they're working multiple jobs, but they didn't update the dates. But from a search perspective, from a LinkedIn perspective, I often am looking at like the Boolean keyword searches, so For me, it might be SaaS or inside sales. It might be working with certain softwares like HubSpot or for customer support or Jira site. So it's making sure you add those keywords that reflect your experience, both in terms of software potentially that you've worked with, um, quotas. I mean, for sales, like it never is a bad thing to put your success on there, like differentiate yourself from
Mhm.
other people. A lot of people end up putting, and I've made this mistake myself before for sure, putting like just the job description on their resume and on their LinkedIn. Like I'm multitasked and was good on the phone. Okay, well that's what client support does. They're good on the phone, obviously. You hope so. What
Yeah.
made you different? Like, did you have the best customer success satisfaction score for your team? What are those things that say, I, Megan Cantrell, am the person you want to hire because I did this and no one else did this? So what you want to do is want someone to have a conversation with you, like want to learn more. Summaries are always helpful because,
Mhm.
for example, I work for two companies under a parent company, so I have to explain that in my summary. So sometimes, engaging there, putting that you're open to work is always a good thing.
Yep.
Or also just even putting the specific kinds of jobs that you're looking for, because you might be looking to transition industries or transition into a new type of role. So if you're open to work, you might want to put something like that in your summary. Like, these are my transferable skills. This is what I used to do. This is what I want to do. Um, I think those
Beautiful.
are some good ideas.
Beautiful. I love that. I love it. All that stuff. Kelsey says here, real quick, I must depart. Go sell some. Yeah. Speaking of, she has an 11:30 call. So sell some things. Thank you for your time, and everyone have a safe holiday. Yes,
Hi,
absolutely.
Kelsey.
Yes, Kelsey. See you later, love. We'll see you. Mel has a good comment here. 100% agree. Connecting and building relationships is key. Key emoji. I love it. Taking notes.
Uh-huh.
What do recruiters really? Yeah, and you talk about open to work here. So, what do recruiters
Mhm.
really think? Not just think, but what do they really think about the open to work banner on LinkedIn?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, there are people who are actively looking, there are people who are passively looking. So actively looking people are going to, I mean, have the open to work banner on there. Great. Like, let's embrace the fact that you are enthusiastically out there wanting a new opportunity. And then there are people who are passively looking who can't have the open to work banner on there because maybe they don't want their current company to know that they're looking. So
Mhm.
not everyone can do that, but there are ways to indicate it in a subtle manner through, I think LinkedIn Recruiter, people can see open to work, but it wouldn't be on like your profile publicly. For people who are passively looking, and for people who are actively looking, like, shout it from the rooftops. Like, tell people that you are excited about finding a new opportunity, because oftentimes people take sabbaticals, people take time off. So not everybody who, isn't currently working is necessarily looking for a new job. So like, I love the open to work banner because it tells me, okay, great, like this person wants to have a conversation. Ideally, it also means they're going to be quick to communicate back with me, because sometimes I send messages and people don't see them for months on LinkedIn. So for me, I'd like to think somebody with an open to work signal is like checking their LinkedIn maybe daily or getting notifications, and is quick to move and communicate, because recruiters' time matters. It's all about getting people through the process quickly.
I love that. And I agree with you. Like, I am an advocate. I am an advocate for the open to work green banner as well. And here's why, right? If the only exception is, yes, if you are currently employed and you do not want your current employer to see you're actively looking, unless they're fine with that, then by all means, have your profile so that recruiters only can see that you're active. But as far as like, if you're unemployed, absolutely, right. If you're really wanting to say it or to sing it from the rooftops, or something, then absolutely do it. I definitely agree. I mean, that's why LinkedIn created the feature in the first place during COVID, right? For sure, and I think that's important because I know you and other folks and other recruiters in our networks that we have mutual connections with and relationships with. They'll all agree and say the same thing. A lot of times they'll look at people that have the banner on and say, all right, let's see who is really active, who will, like you said earlier, take the time to get back to me quickly and efficiently and really want to have the conversation. For
And I
sure.
know a lot of, oh, sorry to interrupt, but I know
No,
a
you're
lot of
great. Good.
recruiters, they'll start with the open to work people. Like,
Yeah.
they'll know, okay, like I'm gonna get to the passive candidates who might be the unicorn, like great fit, but let's start with the people who are on the market, now and go from there and see what that pulse of the market looks like just with the open to work. Like that's usually who a lot of recruiters go to first.
1,000%. Yes, 1,000%. Yeah, Mel says here, good to know. Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely welcome. I'm part-time with one client, would like to find more. And Mel too, for me, like as a business owner, entrepreneur, there are sometimes where I'll put it up. I'll put the open to work banner up too. Cause you never know who's going to reach out. Right. And like, obviously when you have, I would say like there's pros and cons of having it up and not having it up. But if you do have it up, sometimes, you'll get those spammy messages and stuff. But I tell folks too, like if you do get kind of a message that sounds fishy, you don't have to necessarily respond to it, or just say no, thank you or something like that. If it's an opportunity you like really want and you can verify that it's legit, because there are, spam job postings out there and stuff, we just have to be careful. Or, reach out to a recruiter like Megan, ask, hey, is this, legit or me or whatever. I think that's important, but for sure, yeah, you want to find more clients or do something, like absolutely put it up for a little bit of time, see what happens, and go from there. I mean, and that's what's so unique about it too, is like, do what works for you. I mean, I think that's really something that's important to note as well. For sure, I think that's great. Anything else on that regard, Megan?
With regard to open to work?
Yeah.
I do think that the people who have the open to work banner, I mean, again, they make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. Those are the people we're going to look at first, make sure it reflects. Interestingly enough, this happens a lot with people I'm interviewing where their LinkedIn and their resume are not the same. The dates are different, the job titles are different, and they'll say something like, well, I was an account manager, but I was really an account executive. And it's like, okay, well, just be prepared to explain that, but the dates should line up. And it's not me as much as it is hiring managers who
Yeah.
really want to make sure that you're reflecting things accurately. And so, and also put months in, because like on resume, sorry, this isn't LinkedIn, this is resume
Yeah.
things now that I'm jumping into, put your months in, because if you put 2020 to 2021, you could have started in December of 2020 and ended in January of 2021 and been there 2 months. So like tell your story, like and add those dates and add those months. But yeah, make sure your LinkedIn reflects the same thing as your resume, and you can always talk about how your job title was account manager, but it was really an account executive. And I get that if you want to look for account executive roles, you're going to want to have that on LinkedIn. And then maybe just explain it in the interview process. Like it was actually technically an account manager role, but this is what I did, that kind of thing.
I agree. I do. Yeah, especially with, because there are recruiters out there, they will cross reference. They'll look at both. If you provide them with a LinkedIn URL on your LinkedIn, or if there's on the application required section where if you have a LinkedIn account, to put that in there, they will cross reference. Or hiring managers will cross reference. Be like, well, yeah, they were an AE here, but they're account executive here, but they're account manager on the resume. You're like, what's going on? But you're right, because job titles are different, all over the place. Different industries have different titles. They may say, people operations manager versus HR manager or something. So just, yeah, I love that advice that you have there, to really be transparent and upfront to the recruiter and the hiring manager if there is some kind of a discrepancy on that. I think that's fantastic.
Also,
Mel
if
said,
you're in a leadership role, oh, sorry, I was
no,
just
you're
going to
good.
add,
No, go
also,
ahead, please.
even like leadership roles, like every job title is different at every company. So really hone in on what that meant, because I see directors who are still individual contributors, like they're directing the program, but they're not directing a team.
Correct.
So, really clarify what that role was.
That's great. No, that's really good advice. I'm glad you said that, because it's very, very much different. Right. So that's why I think too, like on resume and stuff, like you said earlier, where you're really bringing out your value, your metrics, really explain, right? So if you are a talent act director, but you did a lot more like strategic contributing, achievements, really bring those out there that are relevant to the jobs that you're applying to and things like that. Mel said here too, just want to make sure she's got that. Good to know as a fellow entrepreneur. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I do. I mean, I don't care. Cause I think for me, I've started, I don't really care what people think. Like I don't, like I used to, but I don't anymore. I think just cause I've been doing it for a while. I don't, do what works for you. I think that's the most important for sure. I think it is. Cool. Like, This is awesome, and we've talked a lot within 35 minutes. We've got a couple more minutes of time. If you've got a few more minutes, my friend,
I've got
I
a few
kind of
more
want to.
minutes.
You do? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about process a little bit, right? We talked a little bit about just how to brand, how to really get the relationships going. But when it comes to like recruitment process, we'll start there. What are ways that organizations can streamline and make it more effective? Because most clients I work with, I work with job seeker and career clients all the time. And a lot of them, when they reach out to me, they say, the process is taking too slow. We hear about ghosting all the time, things like that, where there seems to be a gap within the processes that companies are looking, they're wanting to work at or stuff. So what can they do to really, I guess, improve their candidate experience so that candidates and folks that they're engaging with feel belonged and feel like, oh, this is a really good process I'm going through.
I would say value your candidate's time and communication, communication, communication. So, from the time perspective, I try to cover the make or break questions in the first 5 to 10 minutes of a conversation with a candidate. Like after like warm introductions and whatnot. Like, hey, here are the things that we need for example, for my company, we're hybrid, so you have to be in Atlanta. We are 3 days in office, 2 days remote. Does that work for you? And then Atlanta traffic, it's terrible. So, what does that commute look like for you? Is that realistic? But then I cut straight to money, and I cannot tell you how often candidates say, "Thank you for going
Mm-hmm.
straight to money," because they say that they have these hour-long conversations with recruiters, and then the money's brought up, and it doesn't align at all, and it was a complete waste of their time. So, bring up the money early on, bring up the make or breaks right away, value your candidate's time, make sure this is the right fit for them. And then through the interview process, I mean, we strive to. It's my policy to strive to get back to candidates within 48 business hours, but that is
Yeah.
not always the case because
Right.
of hiring managers' availability, the opportunity for hiring managers to meet and collaborate afterwards and debrief. So it's just letting them know that that they're still top of mind. So giving them that expectation from the start, like here's our process. Perfect world, I can get you through it in 2 weeks, but that is at the whim of your availability, the hiring team's availability. So it could be a little longer, but that's my expectation. And I have
Good.
candidates who are really far along in the process, and I'll interview somebody and I'll say, hey, full transparency, there's somebody pretty far along in this process. So there's a chance that this job could close because that person's hired. Do you want to continue interviewing? Like, do
That's
you
great.
want to be in this process still? Because I always encourage people to do that because you could be a great fit for another role that's open right now, or we could be putting you in a pipeline to hire you at a later date. And that happens a lot too, where I've got top contenders for future opportunities because they went through the process because they were fantastic. We just didn't the timing didn't work. So it's just transparency and communication. I text candidates a lot. I'll say, I just wanted you to know I haven't forgotten about you. Like we're gonna get back to you soon. I'm sorry for the delay. Thank you for your patience and your continued interest because we're all humans. We're all doing what we can, but we are at the whim of balancing a lot of different people. And
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, value their time, be transparent, and communicate.
I love it. Value their time, be transparent, communicate. Yeah, I love those three steps. I think for me, it's kind of a bigger picture word, which is integrity, right? Like it's all around
Yes.
integrity. Doing what you say you'll do when you said you do it, right? I think that's kind of my core value and my favorite core value for myself. But when it comes to the recruitment and even just the coaching side, right? Like I love your 48-hour update, policy. I think that's fantastic. Even if you don't have an update, you're still reaching out saying, hey, I don't have an update right now with the hiring manager, but wanted to let you know, here's what's going on, that kind of thing. Because yeah, we just don't want to keep candidates waiting and stuff like that. And I'm sure on the back end too, telling those hiring managers there's some sort of accountability as well, where you're holding them accountable. Be like, all right, we want to make sure we've got candidates engaged, so you need to get back to us and let us know what's going on. So
Well, it's important because these are people who are looking for jobs and you want to treat everybody with respect, but you also need to remember that they could be a great fit for a role down the line. And if they have a bad experience now, they're never going to consider you. Not to
yep.
mention, like, you go to a restaurant, you have a great time, you tell two people, you go to a restaurant, you have a horrible experience, you tell 50. So don't let somebody have a bad experience because that will create a bad branding for your company. Like it's a value
Mm-hmm.
to just make sure that you're always be recruiting. Make sure you're having a good candidate experience because you want to build out that relationship long term.
I love it. I love it. Always be recruiting. I love it. And always having that mindset and that I'll say it, that mindset and that heart set of really executing. I love that. I think that's incredible. I think that's incredible. So we're kind of getting wrapped up on time. We've unloaded a ton. I knew we
Yeah.
would, and I knew we would with you, and it's been incredible. But I always like to ask this
Thank
final
you.
question to the guest
Yes.
speakers. So Meghan, what is like one tip of advice that if you want to, give the audience here on the replay, etc., give them one little piece of advice for the audience, what would that be and why?
Recruiters or candidates or
All the
both?
above, whatever you feel, whatever's in your heart.
Oh gosh, so many things I could say, but I would say just to be genuine, to have integrity, to be intentional, because I mean, there's getting a job and then there's finding your next career move. So you want to make sure you're listening to what your talents are, what your passions are, and you'll find that right fit. It may not be right away because I know the job market can be crazy at times, but
Mhm.
it's finding creative solutions. Like I said, reach out to employees at that company, reach out to the talent acquisition person and just introduce yourself. Don't be aggressive, but just say, hey, I'm really excited about this role. If I might be a great fit, I'd love to be considered. There are good jobs and good companies out there.
There are, and companies, even in this interesting market, right? Companies are still hiring. I have to remind my people of that all the time. Companies are still hiring. We talked about this before we went live. I mean, we think that the market's starting to turn a little bit, which is good. Yeah, we're seeing layoffs and stuff like that. It's quarter four, and companies are still adjusting their workforce and stuff like that. But orgs are still hiring, and I love how you talked about always be recruiting and always staying proactive in your approach, whether you're recruiting, job seeking, what have you, always being a few steps ahead, networking, not being aggressive, being genuine, being real, being full of integrity. I think that's great. Mel has a good comment here at the end. You two are great. Love the dialogue. I wish the recruiters who have reached out would
Oh,
operate with these standards. Yeah, and Mel, there aren't every single recruiter isn't great, right? There are going to be a couple bad apples out there. So in a perfect world, everybody would be awesome, right? Thank you for the reminder, creating consistency on the resume and LinkedIn. Also love knowing that, yes, the dollar up for 1,000%, 1,000%. Like, I mean, yeah, when you said that, Meghan, I'm resonating. I'm in tune with that. Like, yes, you got to be transparent up front, man. You just got to do it.
thank you,
There's no fluff.
Mel, for all your feedback too. Really
Yeah, you've been
appreciate it.
great. Kelsey, thank you too, Mel.
Thank you,
Robert, thanks for
Kelsey.
being on. Yeah, everybody here. And for those folks streaming on Facebook, YouTube, we appreciate y'all as well. So we're gonna call it a day. So we're gonna share a couple things here in the captions. So of course, we can, Meghan, of course, obviously, how can people find you? LinkedIn, right? So
LinkedIn.
here's LinkedIn's URL for Meghan. I've got a QR code as well. Let me get that up here for folks that are on wanting to get that. So yeah, Meghan's of course on LinkedIn. She's very active. Again, her content's incredible. Know that from me. She's amazing.
Thank
Like
you.
she would not be on this live. I think she was amazing. Like I'm very, very picky who I bring on my lives. So please, y'all, connect with Meghan. She's incredible, and she's just a really good friend. So for sure. So I'm going to leave the QR code up, but now we obviously know that OxBlue is hiring, right? What are some roles that you're looking at to fill, before the end of the year?
Yeah, so in Dallas and in Atlanta, we are hiring an inside sales manager to
Yeah,
oversee the account executives. And we're hiring account executives. So those are inside sales outbound hunters with at least 3 years of full sales cycle experience. But those are some of the roles that we're hiring for now. Hiring a product manager here in
mhm,
Atlanta. You have to be local. I get lots of applicants all over the country, and
sure.
I wish we could hire all of you, but I need a local Atlanta product manager to
Okay.
join our team. So those are a couple of the roles that we're looking at. We have client support specialist open. That's more of an entry level role. But if somebody likes technology and likes talking on the phone, that's always a great one as well. But Phil, I just want to mention it's a pleasure to tune in and to be your guest. Thank you so much for having me. It's been
No, absolutely.
fulfilling.
It has been fulfilling. Yeah, that product manager, that's good for me to know too. I mean, I'll look at my network as well and see if I've got anybody in the area that would be interested in that one. So that's good for me to know. But see, this is what the network is all about. It's like, okay, well, now I know. All right, let's see what's going on. And that's the thing. It's value for value, support for support. That's the one thing I love to tell people all the time, because it is. We're collaborating and supporting each other. It's never one way. It's always two way, and we're always there to support each other. So excellent. So we've got you there. I'm going to change a couple of things here on my end. So let me do that. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn as well, right? LinkedIn.com/in/Phil-the-recruiter. Here's my LinkedIn as well. I'm here all the time. This is where people can find me. Or if you just go on Google and you type in FulPHILLment or FulPHILLment, FulPHILLment, you can find me, all my social media accounts, my website as well, which is here in the QR code. I've got that here, fulfillment.com. Of course, like I said earlier, I offer one-on-one career coaching to mid and senior level professionals with my unique tune into framework. So I really help you to tune into finding career fulfillment, whether you're unemployed looking for a new role, whether you're currently employed and looking to get promoted, or whether you're looking to make a career pivot or change your tune. We're here for it. So I am taking on clients before the end of the year. During the holiday season, I will be working just to close out some clients, but also to take on new ones. So if you're at a point where you're really, really ready to find fulfillment, send me a DM on LinkedIn. I've got a contact form on my website. You can do that there. The other thing too, I like to promote, I also have a freebie. It's a free job search video online course on my website for folks out there that need a little pick me up or some motivation. I tell people all the time, go to my job search course. Here's a QR code for that. It's about 25-minute video. You can watch it as many times as you want, but it's filled, literally filled, with really good value. So if you're stuck in your job search, I highly recommend you access that for sure. And if you want to talk about that course one-on-one with me, we're definitely here for that. We also have some exciting things coming up since it is the holiday season. I love to give away some things. So we're going to do another raffle off, I think, for some fulfillment swag, including I've got a fulfillment hat, baseball hat for folks with my logo on it. So I'll probably give away some of those. I've got fulfillment t-shirts as well. So we have a t-shirt with my logo on it there. And I've got a coffee mug. I don't have a mug because I broke the last one, so I've got to get a new one. But I've got a couple of coffee mugs. So if you're cold and you need some hot chocolate or tea or coffee or something like that, we're going to be offering some of those there too. So stick around. I'll be posting all that stuff in a raffle and some specials on my LinkedIn page in the next couple of weeks or so. And yeah, so I think that's all I've got. But Megan, you are such a joy. Everybody in the comments, thank you so much for engaging. For those on the replay, thank you for tuning in. Please let us know your thoughts and feedback. Megan, any last words? Anything you want to share?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, I know. I can't believe it. It's hard to believe that the holidays are really right here, but yeah, and have a wonderful holiday, folks. Have a safe one. Enjoy it. And we will see y'all next time. Our next Fulfillment Live is going to be, I believe, the first Thursday of December in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today, we'll have Fulfillment Live, episode 4, season 3. So stay tuned on that one.